If you're receiving Social Security, SSDI, SSI, or any government benefits, Wednesday, June 11th could reveal crucial information that impacts your monthly payments for the rest of the year. In this video, I'll break down exactly what the upcoming inflation report means for your benefits, why the numbers we've been seeing are concerning for retirees, and what you can realistically expect for your cost of living adjustment moving forward. Welcome to Financial Area, where we decode complex financial news into actionable insights for your retirement. If this information helps you plan better, hit that like button and subscribe for more updates on Social Security and benefits. Let's start with what's actually happening on June 11th and why it matters so much for your monthly benefits. This Wednesday, we're getting the Consumer Price Index report, also known as the CPI or inflation report for the month of May. This data comes out once per month, typically around the middle of the month, and it measures how much prices have changed across the economy. Now, you might be wondering why you should care about May's inflation numbers when your Social Security benefits seem to stay the same month after month. Here's the connection. This CPI data is what the government uses to calculate your cost of living adjustment, or COLA, which determines how much your benefits increase each year. While this specific June report won't directly calculate your next year's increase, it gives us crucial insight into the trend and direction of inflation. The reality is, 2025 has been an incredibly unpredictable year economically. We've seen some very strange patterns in the inflation data over the past several months. The first few months of this year showed inflation moving higher. Then we got one report that dropped significantly, making everyone wonder if inflation was finally cooling down. This June 11th report will help us understand whether that drop was real progress or just a temporary blip. But here's something we need to address honestly. There's a massive disconnect between what the government reports as inflation and what you're actually experiencing at the grocery store, gas station, and everywhere else you spend money. When officials say inflation is only rising by a small percentage, does that match what you're seeing when you buy groceries or pay your bills? Probably not. Most beneficiaries know that their costs are rising much faster than these official numbers suggest. This is why these reports are both important and frustrating. They give us a pulse on official economic policy, but they often don't reflect the real financial pressure you're feeling every month. The government uses specific calculations and categories that may not capture the true cost increases for essential items that retirees and fixed-income individuals purchase most frequently. Now, let's talk about how this all connects to your actual benefit increases. The official COLA calculation doesn't use this June report or any single month's data. Instead, the government uses the average of July, August, and September CPI data to determine your cost of living adjustment for the following year. So, technically, this June report won't directly impact your benefits calculation. However, this data point is incredibly valuable because it shows us the trajectory. Is inflation moving up, down, or sideways? Is it accelerating or slowing down? This information helps us forecast what those crucial July, August, and September numbers might look like. Earlier this year, forecasts were suggesting we might see COLA increases in the range of 2 to 4%. By April, those forecasts had been revised down to somewhere between 2 and 3.2%. This June report could tighten that range even further. And unfortunately, recent trends suggest we might be looking at the lower end of these estimates. There are several factors that could push inflation numbers higher or lower over the next few months. The implementation of various trade policies and tariffs has created some unusual economic pressures. Many businesses pre-ordered inventory and supplies before tariff implementations, which increased demand on supply chains and potentially drove prices up. This kind of economic disruption can show up in inflation data with delays, making it harder to predict exactly what we'll see. Some economists are suggesting we could see inflation reach 4% again this year, which would be significant for both Social Security recipients and Federal Reserve policy decisions. Higher inflation would mean larger COLA increases, but it also means your purchasing power is being eroded more quickly. The challenge for anyone on a fixed income is that COLA increases almost always lag behind real inflation. Even when you get an annual increase in your benefits, it's based on data that's several months old, and it often doesn't fully account for the price increases you've already been experiencing throughout the year. This creates a frustrating cycle where your benefits are constantly playing catch-up to your actual costs. You might get a 3% increase in your Social Security check, But if your grocery bill, utilities, and healthcare costs have increased by 5 or 6%, you're still falling behind financially. So, what should you do with this information? First, manage your expectations realistically. While we all hope for the highest possible COLA increase, the current data trends suggest we might be looking at a more modest adjustment. This means you'll need to continue finding ways to stretch your fixed income and potentially make some difficult budgeting decisions. Second, stay informed about the key dates coming up. The July, August, and September CPI reports will be the ones that actually determine your 2026 benefit increase. Mark these dates on your calendar and pay attention to the trends. If inflation continues to moderate, your COLA might be smaller than you'd prefer. If inflation picks up again, you might see a more substantial increase, but that also means your current purchasing power is being eroded. Third, consider this an opportunity to review your overall financial strategy. If you're relying heavily on Social Security or other government benefits, think about what other resources or income streams might be available to you. Can you reduce certain expenses? Are there programs or benefits you're not currently using that might help? The reality is that the COLA system, while helpful, has significant limitations. It's always backward-looking. It doesn't capture regional differences in cost of living, and it often doesn't weight the categories of expenses that matter most to retirees and disabled individuals. Understanding these limitations helps you plan more effectively. Looking ahead, we'll continue monitoring these monthly inflation reports closely. Each data point helps us understand whether the economic pressures you're experiencing are likely to be reflected in official policy, or if the disconnect between reported inflation and real costs will continue to widen. Remember, this Wednesday's report is just one piece of a larger puzzle. The trend over the next several months will be much more important than any single number. Whether inflation is accelerating, stabilizing, or cooling down will ultimately determine not just your COLA increase, but also broader economic policies that affect everything from interest rates to employment to healthcare costs. The key is staying informed without getting overwhelmed by every monthly fluctuation. Focus on the broader trends, prepare for multiple scenarios, and make sure you're maximizing all the resources available to you beyond just your monthly benefit payments. This June 11th report will give us valuable insight into where things are heading. But remember that your financial security depends on much more than just hoping for a large COLA increase. The more you understand about how these systems work, the better equipped you'll be to navigate whatever economic conditions we face in the months ahead. Thanks for watching Financial Area. If this breakdown helped you understand what to expect from Wednesday's report and how it affects your benefits, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more updates on Social Security, Medicare, and financial planning for retirees. We'll be covering the actual CPI results as soon as they're released, so stay tuned for that analysis.